Hello, it's Scott Stewart from the Atlanta Youth Wind Symphony. Such a pleasure to be able to spend some time with you today as we prepare for our live concert at Lassiter Concert Hall on October 5th, 2025. The theme of this concert is 37, and it represents 37 years of the Atlanta Youth Wind Symphony, which was founded in 1988 and has been presenting concerts all around Atlanta and throughout the United States, and most recently in Europe for 37 years. When we were first thinking about programming for this concert, we thought 37's a horribly boring prime number that doesn't have a lot of meaning. And then we started thinking, 3 plus 7 is 10. That's a good number. 3 is a good number. 7's a good number. 7 minus 3 is 4. That's a good number. Then we started researching and found that George Gershwin died in 1937. Percy Grainger actually wrote Lincolnshire Posy in 1937. So then we started finding lots of connections that we could find to kind of program a really interesting starting concert for the year around this number. I want to thank you for being a supporter. We're so excited that you're a part of our new season ticket program, and we look forward to sharing our music with you throughout this entire season. Downey Overture by Oscar Navarro, a Spanish composer, is our opener. It's one of my favorite barn burner concert openers of all time. Its relationship to 37 is that it's in 3 broad sections, and it celebrates a 10th anniversary of a conductor who helped commission the piece. So 3 plus 7 is 10. For me, it also represents the vitality and the energy and the excitement that I get to experience every Monday with these amazing musicians. So I hope you'll enjoy the Spanish-flavored Downey Overture by Oscar Navarro. George Gershwin was a composer in Tin Pan Alley and Broadway and show tunes, but he wanted to write classical music, and every time he did, all of his show tunes and jazz came out in his writing, and it kind of created this interesting fusion that only sounds like George Gershwin. His 3 preludes for piano are very popular pieces, sometimes played by piano students, and the second one, the second prelude, is a gorgeous bluesy movement that features some wonderful solos in alto saxophone, trumpet, clarinet, and oboe. So our classical musicians also have a chance to kind of cross over into the jazz genre. We hope you will really enjoy this lovely second prelude by George Gershwin. You probably know Gustav Holst best from his orchestral composition, The Planets, each movement representing a different planet in the solar system, except for Pluto, which hadn't been discovered yet. He is very well known in the wind band world for providing one of the very first original compositions for what we understand to be the modern concert band. This is his first suite in E-flat for military band. It was actually written for a gigantic band of about 165 people in England back in 1909. It didn't get performed for a number of years later, but it has become one of the most important pieces in the modern wind band ensemble repertoire. It's a 3-parter, and Holst requested it be played bing, bing, bing right in a way. So there are not too many breaks right in between the movements. You'll hear in the first movement this really pretty melody starting with the tubas and the euphoniums. Dee, 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 dee. And then it continues, and you'll always hear that melody repeating about 18 times. There are a couple of moments when it gets turned upside down, but for the most part, you'll always know where you are based on some section of the band playing that tune. The second movement is a really bright, light, bouncy scherzo, and guess what? It starts with bum bum bum, the same 3 notes that the first movement starts with. It has a number of lovely solos in the woodwinds and the euphonium. The third movement is kind of a perky British march, which starts with bop beep bop, which is the inversion or turned upside down version of bom bom bom. So it's a very clever and witty and intellectually stimulating composition, but even if you don't recognize any of that stuff, it is a delightful piece to listen to. The Holst first suite is followed by, in later concerts, the whole second suite and a number of other compositions. He's one of our heroes because he showed the rest of the serious classical music world that really famous and well thought of composers would write for wind band. To end the first half of the concert program on the 5th is The Seeker by David Maslanka. David Maslanka was a great champion of the wind band ensemble in his time. We lost him at all too early of an age back in 2017, but he's left us with a rich legacy of amazing music, some very bite-sized pieces, a couple of pieces about the size of The Seeker that are at 10 minutes, and a number of his symphonies which last up to an hour. So you should definitely check out his website at davidmaslanka.com. The Seeker references the Buddhist tradition of seeking enlightenment, and it has an opening slow section, a pretty energetic, almost raw, passionate opening section that resonates well with teenagers, a very pretty middle section, and then kind of returns to the big, powerful section at the end. The Seeker is a powerful, emotional force. By the time Haydn and Mozart and Beethoven had written all of their glorious music from the late 1700s through Beethoven's death in 1827, the form that we call symphony was pretty well established. For the most part, a 4-part instrumental form, fast, slow, 3, and fast. Composers ever since have used those as a launching pad to bring their own voice and their own ideas to this symphonic form, including wind band ensemble composers. Vittorio Giannini was an Italian-American composer who decided, kind of for fun, to write a symphony for the Duke University Wind Symphony back in 1958. This is a fairly long piece compared to the ones that AYWS normally does, but it's a really cool journey. It's not programmatic, it's abstract, so you kind of have to make up your own story. But the first movement, which is in what we call sonata form, has kind of an opening statement, a second section. It takes all the themes that he establishes and kind of futzes around with them in the development section and brings everything back at the end. I like to think of sonata form as an Oreo cookie. Chocolate, marshmallow stuffing, and then chocolate at the end. The second movement is a gorgeous, slow, passionate, and emotionally laden movement featuring an oboe solo and some really lovely brass writing. The third movement is a scherzo, which is Italian for joke. It's a very light, fun, dancey movement that plays with time a little bit. So sometimes you're not sure if we're in 2 or in 3. Sometimes we're in 2 and 3 at the same time. So there's lots of kind of playful interplay between the different sections of the ensemble. And then finally, the fourth movement finale is just kind of a galloping romp to the end. It's about 23 minutes of symphony, and it's very digestible, not too abstract. So it has some romantic era language that might sound operatic, like Puccini or Wagner. It might sound more like Tchaikovsky or Brahms from the late 19th century, but with a little bit of modern crunchiness to bring it into the 20th century. The Symphony No. 3 is another one of those cornerstone pieces for the wind band. The closer for our concert is just one of my favorite concert gems, Slava, by the great music conductor, composer, educator, and television star Leonard Bernstein, as a dedication to his friend Mstislav Rostropovich, who they called Slava. And Slava's connection to 37 is that the main theme of Slava is in 7/8. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. So if you're tapping your foot, you have to wait a little longer on the third tap before you keep going. It's a very vaudevillian, razzmatazz, fun show tune that is a great way to kind of end a fun day of music making. Again, we're so glad that you're with us for this time, and we hope you enjoyed the concert.